Start. In this video, we will discuss self-hosting a WCF service using a console application. Hosting a WCF service in any managed .NET application is called a self-hosting. Console application, WPF applications, Window Forms application are all example of managed .NET application. Let's create a simple Visual Studio. Let's create a simple WCF service and then use it using a console application. Let's flip to Visual Studio. Let's create a new project. So we are going to open up our Visual Studio. Come on. Where is it? Here it is. Click. Open it. Run as administrators. Go to. And we want to create a class library project. Okay. Come on. Create a new project. Here we will write class library project. I click here. So class library project. This is our required class library.NET framework. Click this. Next. And let's call it Hello Service. So HELLOSERVICE service. Click and choose the locations. Where do you want to make the locations? I am going to self-hosting one folder. Okay. Come on. Where is it? Self-hosting. And this one is my folder. Okay, select this folder and then check it. Yes, this is the right one. Create. Click OK. Let's click create. Let's delete. What we will do now, we will delete auto-generated class.cs file. Okay, this is the auto-generated class 1.cs file. We don't need it right now, so delete it. Okay, and to this project class library Hello Service project, we will add a WCF service. Click. Come on, what is happening to it here? Yeah, add new item. Write down it WCF. Yeah, it is here. And let's name this WCF service as a Hello Service. So name it as Hello Service. Hello service.cs. Add, click add button. So that should add a reference to system.service model assembly and then generate these two files for us, hello service.cs, ihelloservice.cs. Look at here. Here is the reference to system.service model and these two files are added. Let's get rid of this doWork method, and let's make this method actually return a string back. And we want the get message method to take a string parameter. Come on, it takes. get MESS, and we want this get message method to take a string parameter, and let's call the parameter name. So this I hello service contract has got a single operation contract get message, and this I hello service contract is implemented in this file. Hello service.cs, and then we want to implement this I hello service interface. First of all, we need to erase this, and then we want to implement this I hello service interface. And easiest way to do that is simply to click on to that I hello service and then press Ctrl plus dot. So you may go to this option also. So let's select these options. And this should automatically generate method stuff for us. And all this method is going to do is, first of all, we need to delete all these things. And all this method is going to do is concat the word hello with whatever is coming into the method, using this method. So first of all, we type return 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 hello hello additions, not this one. What is going on here? Yeah, name. Okay, concatenate the word hello with parameter is coming into the method, using this parameter string name. All right. So we have a simple WCF service. Now we are not going to specify any configuration within the WCF service itself, so we can get rid of this app.config file. So delete this config file. I'm going to delete it. Okay. Let's go to, and now we want to host this WCF service using a console application. So here we are self-hosting this WCF service. So to this solution hello service folder, we need to add a console application. So right click on that solutions and add new project, and we want to add a console application, and let's call it host. So type it as console application CON. So here it is, and we want to this one to choose, and we want to add a console application, and let's call it host. So click host, and click OK button. So this should add, click OK button means create button, and you can see the location is same as of cell hosting 1. So click create. So this should add a console. So this should add a console application. The first thing we need to do here is to add a reference to this project, to this project hello service. because we want to host the service, and then we also need to add a reference to system.service model assembly, that is the WCF assembly that contains all the important classes. So let's go and add those references. So go to the reference folders, add reference, and go to assembly first and select the system.service model. Where is the system.service model? Where is it? Where? Okay, I think system dot. Here is it is. So click it. Click OK. So and let's add a reference to Hello Service project itself. So here it is, the system.service model. So now let's add a reference to Hello Service project itself. So again, go to reference folder, add reference, and then go to project, and here you need to check it and click OK. The next step is to specify the configuration for the WCF service, Hello Service, that we want to. So let's add an application configuration file. So but first we need to delete this file, app.config file, auto generated file. So let's add an application configuration file. So by default, app.config should be added to this console application host project. So go to add, and where is the configuration file? Application configuration file. So by default, add it. Now we need to write the configuration here. For the service, we basically need to expose an endpoint. We need to enable metadata exchange so that the client can generate the proxy classes using the metadata. Okay, now we can write that code, literally hand type within this configuration file, or we can make use of WCF configuration editor tool. So we will use the WCF configuration editor tool, but before that we need to build the solution for one time. So build the solution. So the solution built successfully. Now go to the app.config file and open up the edit WCF configuration, fire apps. So, and we want to create a new service. So the service type, assembly is present in the C:\hello service folder. So browse it. So delete this, enter, and go to here. So within bin, within debug, we have Hello Service DLL. So let's open that, and within that Hello Service.DTL we have Hello Service. That is the service that we want to expose. So let's open that. So that is this service type, Hello Service. Click next. Now it is asking us the contract. The contract is nothing but hello service. that is the service contract that we are implementing. Click next. And then what is the binding that we want to use? We want to use a TCP based communication binding. Okay, so TCP binding basically, so let's select that and click next button. The next important thing is the address for the endpoint. Now here you can either specify fully qualified address or you can use a relative address and then specify a base address. So let's use a relative address now. So hello service is going to be the relative address, to reach the service. So we will write hello service, HELLO, hello, SERVICE service. Click next. Now here we have the details that we have provided. Service type as hello service dot hello service. We are going to use net TCP binding, and we are not going to customize the binding in any way. So binding configuration at the moment is default, which is an empty string and an endpoint address, basically hello service, that is the relative address. So let's click finish. So at this point it has added service endpoint for us. Okay, now we need to specify a base address as well because we are using a relative address. Here hello service. So to specify the base address, click on host. Click on host. Here we can add the base addresses. So basically we need to add two base addresses. One base address is for the service endpoint itself and the other base address is for the metadata to be available. So first let's add a base address for metadata. So http localhost come on LOCA localhost let's have the metadata available at the port 8080. So that is the base address for metadata exchange. Click OK. Now let's add a base address for the service endpoint, and that is going to be net dot TCP // localhost :8090. That is the port. So let's add that. So now for this service, the actual endpoint address is going to be net.tcp : / localhost : 8090 / hello service. Okay, so we have the base addresses, we have specified the service endpoint as well as, and another important thing that we need to do, that is we need to enable behavior. Metadata exchange, so that the client basically to enable metadata exchange so that client can generate proxy classes, and in order to do that, expand advanced folder. And here is a service behavior options. Click that. So we want to create a new service behavior configuration, so click that options. click this one, and we want to add a service behavior. And what is that service behavior for? To exchange service metadata. So we gonna add that. So click add button, search for service metadata, it is here, add. And once we select that service metadata here, then this option HTTP get enabled, we need to turn that to true. Means we will go to here and not that, we will go here and enable this HTTP get enabled to true. And let's give this behavior a name instead of new behavior. So we will give it a name, max behavior. And let's give this behavior a name instead of new behavior. So let's actually call this new behavior as max behavior. Okay. So we have a service behavior specified, but then we need to associate this behavior, max behavior, with this service. So let's select this service, and then here within the behavior configuration on select max behavior. So behavior configuration and select max behavior that we have specified. That's it, we are all done. Let's close this. Yes. So now when I click yes, look at that, it is basically writes the entire configuration for us instead of we handwrite it. Okay, so basically we have specified a behaviors. So we have service behavior where we are enabling metadata exchange, and then here we have associated this behavior. We have associated this behavior, this one, with this service using the behavior configuration attribute. And the name of the service, hello service.hello service, and the name of the service is this one. And then here is the endpoint. This is the endpoint, this is the endpoint, and that is the address. That is the address, binding, that is the contract, the ABC of an endpoint is specified, and then here we have the base address. Once is for the service point itself, the other one for the metadata exchange. Okay, so we have specified the required configuration. Then the next steps is to write code to open up the communication channel. Okay, so let's get rid of these namespaces. So we have to go here in the program.cs file. So let's get rid of these. We don't require these namespaces. We require only using system.service model. Okay, where is the system dot service model? So let's bring that in, and then in main method we need to construct an instance of service host. So let's create a service host. uh, where we have to first of all remove this. So and let's call it host, and then I need to understand where is the service host. We require this again, so because I am forgetting the coding, so I need to check it first, that coding is where it is. So where is the service host using okay, we will type it here using so we are creating a service host. We need to specify the type of the service that we are hosting, and in order to get the type of the service, use the type of okay, what we need to do, using, and then in bracket type come on, yeah, service service host instance here is equal to new keyword service host type of hello service dot hello service. So I was missing this one, so I need to write it here. So now, so use the type of keyword and then service host we are hosting is hello service dot hello service. So that is the service we are going to host, and then host open method. So type host host dot open method. Open method is going to look at configuration. This method is going to look configuration of all configurations specified within the app.config file. What binding we have, at what address the service is available, and what contract has it implemented. So it is going to read all the configurations from the configuration file, and then open up the communication channels for the client to consume our WCF service. Okay, so let's go ahead and write a message to the console stating that the service host is started. So let's say host started at whatever date and time. So go to here, we write console and host started at whatever date time. So let's say host started whatever date time. Date time dot now dot to string and to keep it alive, let's we use console write line method. So console read line read read. Okay, read read line method. All right. With all these changes, let's go ahead and run host project by pressing Ctrl plus F5. But before that, we set the host to the startup project because we will get an error if we do not set the host at a startup project. So let's go to the options set as startup project. Now control function 5. So that is so this should our host. So when host.open method is called, is going to open up the communication channel. Now to test if the service is actually working, we can fire a browser and then browse to this relative address http colon localhost. Okay, instead of that, let's go to and create a client for our WCF service. So let's fire up another instance of Visual Studio and then create a new project. So go to the Visual Studio again. Where is the window? Again go to the Visual Studio. So where is the Visual Studio? I think it is hit. Click open, run as administrator, and this time we are going to create a window form application as the client. So let's call this create a new project and then window form. Where is the window form application? It is here. So click this one and name it as Windows client. And select the location, and I have already made a folder window forms client 1. So go to here, go to window desktop Windows forms client. So where it is here, window forms client 1 folder. Select it and check the locations and create. Okay, so now we need to design a form. So let's get to toolbox. We need to label but before it is not creating yet. What is happening to it? I clicked it. Okay, come on here. It is taking too much time to create the projects. So once the project is created, we need to go to toolbox. We need two labels. So go to the toolbox and come to get two labels. Come on. A button, a text box. Come on, where is the text box? Come fast. Here it is, the text box. So let's arrange these all things. So we have text box there. So drag it here. Bring this button here. Label 2 should be here. Okay, and label 1 should be aligned here. Okay, keep this button here, make it little wider. So we have text box there. This level 2 is going to display the result for us, and this label 1 is just going to say name. So the user can enter a name, and let's get to property of this button, and then let's specify the actually sort this. Let's call the get message. So change the text on label 1, go to the property, and it should be name 1. Okay, give little space, and this label 2 should be invisible, means go to its properties and remove the label text, because this label 2 is going to display the result for us. And to that button, change its name to get message button. Okay, and then let's get rid of the default text. We have done that, and let's change the text on label 1. We have done that. All right, so when we click at get message, this one, if we click that, so when we click at get message, that's when we want to invoke the WCF service. Okay, so let's go to the solution explorer and then add a reference to WCF service. So we are going to add a reference to the service. So here add a service reference. Remember the base that we have specified for metadata exchange is localhost 8080. So if you have look in the web config file, so copy this and paste it in the address text. So specify that address within the address text box. Click OK. So now it should identify that hello service that is running on the machine. So the host is running. So the communication channels are opened. So the client should be able to find the service. And then let's specify the namespace as hello service. So remove this. Hello service. Here click OK. So this should generate the proxy classes based on the metadata. Okay, so at the class level, let's go ahead and create an instance of proxy class hello service client. So we will come here here at the class level, we will write hello service. Dot hello service client client, and then within let's go ahead and create a new instance. We have created the new instance of the proxy class, and then within the button click event, all we need within the constructor, we also need to do something. So in the constructor, we will write as the coding like this: client is equal to new hello service dot hello service client, and then client is equal to new hello service dot hello service client, and within the button click event, all we are going to do is invoke the get message, and we want to pass it the name that is going to be typed into the text box. And then obviously, so we will type what we will type in the button coding event, and just label to dot text is equal to client dot get message bracket, what we will write here, red text box 1 dot text okay. So get message is going to return a string back which we want to display in label 2 control. So this is the label 2 control dot text equal the whatever comes back from the WCF service. All right, with all that let's go ahead and run this client as well. Press Control and F5. So let's, for example, enter Surinder. Here I am typing Surenter Surinder. Click this get message button. So we get the result in the label 2. So get a response back from the WCS. Look at that, hello Surinder and hello Surinder 2. Again press get message. Alright, so here in this video we have demonstrated creating a simple WCF service and self-hosting that service using a console application. Now let's understand the advantages and disadvantages. Okay, let's understand the advantages and the disadvantages of self-hosting or WCF service. Now first of all, it is very easy to set up. All you need to do to self-host a WCF service is to specify the configuration that is required for the service within the app.config file. So where is the app.config file? Here it is. Okay, and then write few lines of code to have the service up and running. And all we have done to host these services, we have constructed an instance of a service host, specified the type of the service, and we invoke open method which is going to uh, read the configuration from the application configuration file, and then open up the communication channel. These are the coding for open host open methods, etc. So the communication channel for the client to consume our WCF service. Okay, so it is very easy to set up basically, and it is easy to debug as well, because we don't have to attach a separate process that host the WCF service. If we have hosted our WCF service in a Windows service, then to debug it we have to attach that Windows service to the debugger. But when self-hosting, we don't have to do that. What I mean by that is, let's actually run both the service and client in debug mode. So let's run this hello service. So we are running the service in debug mode. So first of all, we need to close this running WCF service, and then run this service hello service in debug mode. So click function 5, click F5. So it is running in debug mode. And let's go ahead and do the same thing to the window client. So go to the window client and again press F5. So all I need to do is run the service in debug mode and then stick a breakpoint. Okay, we actually want to debug the WCF service, so let's go to the service implementation. So let's go ahead and stick a breakpoint. First of all, type Surender here only, SURENDER. Okay, take it away and minimize it. So we want to put a breakpoint, stick a breakpoint where we will stick a breakpoint. We will stick breakpoint in hello service. So put the breakpoint here. Okay, so look that the debugger drop into this. So what we'll do first, we will come here and click get message. So look at that the debugger drop into this one, and I can press F10. So click F10 and inspect what is coming into the variable. So what is coming into the variable? Surinder is coming. Look at that, Surinder. So it is very easy to debug. When we have the WCF service self-hosted, and another greatest advantage with self-hosting is it is going to support all binding and transport protocol. For example, if we host WCF service within IIS, then IIS support only HTTP based binding. Non HTTP based binding are not supported. No non HTTP based binding are not supported. But with self hosting, we get support for all the bindings and all the transport protocols. Okay, and it is very flexible to control the lifetime of the service to the open and close method of service host. Okay, now in order to make the service host available for public consumption, all we have done is invoke the open method on the service host instance. If you want to close the service host, only you need to do is host.close method. We will discuss this in detail when we discuss self-hosting a WCF service using window application. We will do that in our next video session. Okay, so these are the advantages of self-hosting a WCF service using a console application. There are disadvantages as well. So what are the disadvantages? Disadvantages are the service is available for the client only when the service host is running. Okay, so if you stop the service host, and then if the client tries to basically it is means if you close this service, basically detach this timeout, detach all. Let's detach this debugger. We have detached this debugger. So basically, if the service host is not running, then the client tries to invoke the WCF service. Obviously, we are going to get a communication exception. So if we want WCF service to be available, then the service host has to be running. Okay, and self-hosting does not support something called automatic message-based activation that we get when we host the WCF service within IIS. Okay, so when we have hosted a WCF service within IIS, we don't have to manually start it. The IIS is always a passive listener. So whenever a message comes in, the service is going to start automatically. So it's an automatic message based activation. We don't get that with self-hosting. We have to manually start and stop the service host. And obviously when we self-host a WCF service, we need to write custom code. Okay, but in general self-hosting, we don't get that we have to manually start and stop. So it is an automatic message based activation. We don't get that with self-hosting. We have to manually start and stop the service host. And obviously when we self-host a WCF service, we need to write custom code. Okay, but in general, self-hosting is only suitable during the development and demonstrations phase. When we develop the WCF service, but in real time for live WCF service, we don't really host them using either a console application or window application. We don't really self-host a WCF service in real time. Okay, in real time we either host a WCF service in window services, or using an IIS with window activation services enabled. We will discuss all these options in our upcoming video. That's it for today. Thanks you for listening. Have a great day. Okay guys, this is sign off from me.